Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Cheva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Padirayet. Nashta Prayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavate Uttama Shloke Bhakti Bhavati Neshtike. Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Sri Caitanya Manobhistam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Guru and Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitamscha. Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Suti Devi Pranamami Hari Priya Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Krishnaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Iti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Shashanyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Vanchakalpa Tarubhyasya Kripa Sindhu Bhaevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhaktavina. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. We continue reading from Srimad Bhagavatam. We are on Canto 3, Chapter 14, Text 19. We are reading about the glories of Lord Varahadev. And now the section is, of course, going on that Kashyap Muni and Diti. And then how again Lord Varahadev is going to appear. Yam ahur atmano hi ardham shreyas kamas yamanini yas yam swadhuram adhyasya pumams charati vichvaraha. O respectful one, a wife is so helpful that she is called the better half of a man's body because of her sharing in all auspicious activities. A man can move without anxiety, entrusting all responsibilities to his wife. So Kashyap Muni is trying to pacify Diti. By the Vedic injunction, the wife is accepted as the better half of a man's body because she's supposed to be responsible for discharging half of the duties of the husband. A family man has a responsibility to perform 5 kinds of sacrifices called Pancha Yagya in order to get relief from all kinds of unavoidable sinful reaction occurred in the course of his affairs. So 5 kinds of sacrifices a family man is supposed to perform, and that 5 kinds of sacrifices is called Pancha Yagya. And why is he supposed to perform this? So that he can get rid of the sins. You know, every day we do commit sins even unknowingly. There's so many germs we kill, or, you know, we walk on the road, we might be killing ants. And there's so many unavoidable, those are. When a man becomes qualitatively like the cats and dogs, he forgets his duties in cultivating spiritual values, and thus he accepts his wife as a sense gratificatory agency. So here the difference between a human being and an animal is given. That what distinguishes a human being from an animal is cultivating spiritual values. When we cultivate spiritual values, that's what makes us human beings. Otherwise, if we just accept as our spouse, wife or husband as a sense gratificatory agency, then we are not on the level of human beings. When the wife is accepted as a sense gratificatory agency, personal beauty is the main consideration. And as soon as there is a break in personal sense gratification, there is disruption or divorce. But when the husband and wife aim at spiritual advancement by mutual cooperation, there is no consideration of personal beauty or the disruption of so-called love. In the material world, there is no question of love. Marriage is actually a duty performed in mutual cooperation as directed in the authoritative scriptures for spiritual advancement. Therefore, marriage is essential in order to avoid the life of cats and dogs who are not meant for spiritual enlightenment. So marriage is supposed to be a cooperation between the husband and wife, between the man and woman, to encourage each other to cultivate our spiritual duties, to engage in spiritual duties for spiritual enlightenment, for spiritual advancement. That is the reason the marriages are performed. So we can cooperate with each other and encourage each other in our spiritual life. Is that okay? Any questions, comments?
Sorry, what is this? The 5 yagya?
Yeah, I'm not sure what are they, Pancha Yagya. But in the Kali Yuga, the yagya that we are supposed to perform is the yagya of the holy name.
Okay,
Sankirtan
yagya. Okay.
Yeah, that's what in Kali Yuga, that is our yagya.
Okay.
That includes all the sacrifices.
So even for the married man or whatever, any kind of person,
Whoever.
Whoever, it is just that you chant and hear, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, in Kali Yuga, that's the sacrifice, which is for this age.
Okay.
So you mean the husband and wife, right? Both of them.
Yeah. So husband and wife, we need to encourage each other.
Right. The spiritual.
To take up the spiritual path. Yeah. So many times what happens recently, I was hearing one of the classes where the question was put up that, okay, the wives usually come to Krishna consciousness because usually, the ladies are more pious. So usually they get more attracted to come to the Krishna consciousness movement. But then the husbands, they say, oh, why are you going there? Who is this Krishna? Somebody who's not from an Indian background, or even if Indian background, but who's this, my competitor? You're supposed to be only with me. Why are you going? What is this whole day you're chanting Krishna? And then how to bring that husband also in Krishna consciousness, how to help him in Krishna consciousness, how to encourage him also to take up Krishna consciousness.
Give them, the Krishna prasadam.
By just giving Krishna prasadam, they're not going to give up their competition. They will still think of Krishna as my competitor.
Really?
This was also raised up, yeah. And then the speaker said that. So could you churn a bit further?
Maybe if not, then maybe just chant so that they could also hear, like when we are chanting.
Okay, but that will not let them give up their enmity to Krishna. How do we actually encourage them? Encourage them to take up the process of Krishna consciousness.
And how is that?
So then a couple of points was brought up. One was said that each individual case has to be studied separately because everyone is in a different, each person is in a different situation. Each couple is in a different circumstance. So to see where they're coming from and how the help could be given. So if there is a proper mentor who could mentor them. And then another very good point which was brought up was that what happens, why does the husband or the child think Krishna is my competitor? Because suddenly the wife says, oh, I just have to engage in my Krishna conscious activities. I can't help you with your homework, for example. She might say the child, I have to go for book distribution. I have to go to do deity worship. Or she might tell the husband, oh, you're the whole day, you're just good for nothing. I'm doing such important services in the temple. So what we have to do is we do our duties, whatever responsibilities we have, we do them to the best ability, as well as do whatever we want to do, hearing, chanting, some service in the temple. But don't neglect the responsibilities that we have at home or towards our family. And in that way, become an example I mean, this I'm just adding, this was not said, but I also feel that we need to become an example to them, to show them, oh, I have taken up this Krishna consciousness process and I'm trying to become a better person. It's really helping me a lot. And so once they can see the changes in us, how we are becoming better, they will get attracted to take it up. Makes sense, makes sense. This person, my husband or my wife, he or she would act in such a way before. But now, after taking up the process more seriously, has changed, has better qualities, more patient, more tolerant, not fighting with me so much. So let me also try it. I could also change. So we have to be the example. We don't neglect anything, because if we neglect, then that creates a disruption in family life, which shouldn't happen. Shouldn't happen.
Yes, even I heard the same thing, Damodar Das Prabhu, he said 3 things you have to do, which, we are in a grasta life. You have to do your duty, but without attachment. And then do the karmas, acha karma karo, means without fruitive result. And the third one, he said, yes, bhakti, which is important. So these 3 things you have to do in your daily life. Bhakti devotional service.
Yeah. So we do our hearing and chanting and do whatever duties we have.
Yes, you have to do your duties.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, we can't, because Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, that's what the whole Bhagavad Gita premise is about. Arjuna said, I want to retire. I'm going to renounce. I will go to the forest and become a renunciate. Krishna said, no, your nature is there. You will act according to your nature. Now you're just saying you'll go to the forest, but you're a Kshatriya, your spirit will act. So similarly, we have a particular nature and we have certain responsibilities. So we do our duties, continue with our hearing and chanting. And if we are able to, after finishing all the duties, we have some time, we are able to do some services, extra services, we do that then.
Yeah.
So that the family life is a happy, peaceful life. And in that way, we can encourage the family members to take up the process of Krishna consciousness also. Because preaching is done more by example rather than more by speaking. How we act, how we behave, people get more influenced by that. How we make a person feel is more important than what we speak. So if we want to encourage others to take up Krishna consciousness, then we have to become good examples. Yeah. So then reading, it's not easy, but we have to try for the pleasure of Krishna. Not easy. So, but then again, what is easy, Nothing's easy. What we want, sometimes we're like, whatever we want to get, everything needs effort. We want to get a degree also, so much effort, time, any skill we want to acquire. It takes time. Any other comments?
Yeah, and that's what, like with me, I feel like my husband, at least he never stops me. He's saying, I'm not stopping you, do what you want to do.
Very good. Yeah.
So of course, for him to come, like it's, it's not easy. Like when I tell him you chant just 1 round, he says, no, you do. No, it's okay. I'm not stopping you. When the time comes, maybe I'll join you, but it's not yet. So please don't push me. So then I stop telling him.
Yeah, that's better. Yeah, better not to get them irritated. Whenever it's their time, they will take it up. And for sure, they will take it up. Whenever, sooner or later, they will take it up.
Yeah, like see, once a month we have our Dada satsang. He comes, he sings, he will do all that, he listens. But yeah, like chanting, no, not yet. So But then but at least he's like, not stopping me from doing
Favorable.
anything.
At least he's favorable.
He's
That's
favorable,
good.
yes.
Yeah, at least that's really good. Yeah, very good. Yeah, very good. So we should, you should feel grateful also that, as you are saying, at least he's feeling. So yeah, at least he's letting you engage.
Yeah, and as long as we do our duties, household duties, what we have to do.
Yeah, we have to. Can't artificially renounce. We can't artificially pretend to renounce.
Right.
Okay.
Oh.
Thank you. Thank you for bringing up good points. So text 20, Yam ashritendriya ratin durjayan itarashrame vayam jaye mahela bir dasyun durga patiryatha. As a fort commander very easily conquers invading plunderers by taking shelter of a wife, one can conquer the senses which are unconquerable in the other social orders. Of the 4 orders of human society, the student or brahmachari order, the householder or grihast order, the retired or vanaprasth order, and the renounced or sannyasi order, the householder, is on the safe side. So brahmachari, vanaprasth, and renounced order is not so safe because at any time they can get attracted to any woman or woman can get attracted to them. But grihast, he knows, okay, I have my wife, The bodily senses are considered plunderers of the fort of the body. The wife is supposed to be the commander of the fort, and therefore, whenever there is an attack on the body by the senses, it is the wife who protects the body from being smashed. The sex demand is inevitable for everyone. But one who has a fixed wife is saved from the onslaught of the sense enemies. A man who possesses a good wife does not create a disturbance in society by corrupting virgin girls. Without a fixed wife, a man becomes a debauchee of the first order and is a nuisance in society unless he is a trained brahmachari, vanaprasth, or sannyasi. So this is the reason that the grihast ashram is there. Otherwise, men, because sex desire is so strong, then if somebody is not trained to be a brahmachari, vanaprasth or sannyas, what will he do if he's not married? Then he's going to go look around for other women. But like that, if he's already married, then okay, there is the society, the social order is maintained. There's no nuisance in society unless there is rigid and systematic training of the brahmachari by the expert spiritual master. And unless the student is obedient, it is sure that the so-called brahmachari will fall prey to the attack of sex. Sex desire is very, very strong. It's very strong. We just have to accept it. That's what's keeping us here in the material world. And you see the whole world, what are we fantasizing about? What are we romancing about? The romance, the love stories, the using of the women in with car advertisements. What has women got to do with cars or men's advertisement? It's just the sex desire. And then unless one has really got a proper training when they are young in the brahmachari order, they're not going to be able to resist that. Not going to be able to resist that. That's how this material world is. There are so many instances of fall down, even for great yogis like Vishwamitra. A grihast is saved, however, because of his faithful wife. Sex life is the cause of material bondage, and therefore it is prohibited in 3 ashramas and is allowed only in the grihast ashram. The grihast is responsible for producing first quality brahmacharis, vanaprasths, and sannyasis. So the society, Krishna arranged it like that you be a brahmachari, get some good training, then you get a grihast life, get a wife, but then don't stick on to that till the end of life. Move on then retire. Don't just stay working and is so attached to the family life. Move on. Try to cultivate spiritual knowledge, try to cultivate detachments. That's vanaprasth. That's the training before completely renouncing. That is sannyas. But the training is started from the beginning of life. If the training is not given, it becomes very difficult to follow through. And that's what we are seeing right now. That's why what we are seeing, that because of lack of proper training, then we are unable to move on from grihast life to vanaprast or to even sannyas life, So, but well, that is the natural, organic way that Krishna had set up the society. Navayam prabhavas tam tvam anukartum graheshwari api ayusha va kartsne karts yena ye chanye guna grid navaha. O queen of the home, we are not able to act like you, nor could we repay you for what you have done, even if we worked for our entire life or even after death. To repay you is not possible, even for those who are admirers of personal qualities. So much glorification of a woman by her husband indicates that he is henpecked or is talking lightly in joke. Kashyap meant that householders living with wives enjoy the heavenly blessings of sense enjoyment and at the same time have no fear of going down to hell. In the man in the renounced order of life has no wife and may be driven by sex desire to seek another woman or another's wife and thus go to hell. In other words, the so-called man of the renounced order who has left his house and wife goes to hell if he again desires sexual pleasure knowingly or unknowingly. So this is like when we artificially renounce, when somebody's artificially renounced, said, okay, I'm becoming a sannyasi. But that's artificial renouncement because his attachment is still there to the sex desire. So rather be a grihast instead of artificially renouncing, trying to get some praise from other people. So in that way, the householders are on the side of safety. Therefore, husbands as a class cannot repay their debt to women, either in this life or in the next. Even if they engage themselves in repaying the women throughout their whole lives, it is still not possible. Not all husbands are as able to appreciate the good qualities of their wives. But even though one is able to appreciate these qualities, it is still not possible to repay the debt to his wife. Such extraordinary praises by a husband for his wife are certainly in the mode of joking. So Kashyap Muni is saying, now if it's not because of you, I would just go to hell. So he's trying to, what is it? He's trying to get on her good side, trying to get, but it's true also. It's true also what he's saying, that if he were not married and if she was not available for him to fulfill his sex desire, then he would go to hell. But he's grihast, he's not a renounced order, so he can. Athapi kamam etam te prajataye karavani alam yathamam nati rochanti muhurutam pratipalaya. Even though it is not possible to repay you, I shall satisfy your sex desire immediately for the sake of begetting children. But you must wait for only a few seconds so that others may not reproach me. The henpecked husband may not be able to repay his wife for all the benefits that he derives from her. But as for begetting children, by fulfilling sexual desire, it is not at all difficult for any husband unless he is thoroughly impotent. This is a very easy task for a husband under normal conditions. In spite of Kashyap's being very eager, he requested her to wait for a few seconds so that others might not reproach him. He explains his position as follows. So he's saying, please wait just please wait for me. Esha Goratma Vela Goranam Gora Darshana Charanti Yasyam Bhutani Bhuteshanu Charaniha. So he's saying, why to wait? This particular time is most inauspicious because at this time, the horrible looking ghosts and constant companions of the Lord of the ghosts are visible. Kashyap has already told his wife Diti to wait for a while, and now he warns her that failure to consider the particular time will result in punishment from the ghosts and evil spirits who are moving during this time. along with their master, Lord Rudra. So it was around evening time, where Lord Rudra is going around with his followers. So that's the reason Kashyap Muni was saying it's not an auspicious time now. Okay.
It's Sandhya, right?
Sandhya, yeah.
Sandhya.
Yeah, that's what's being said here now. Etasyam sadhvi sandhyayam bhagavan bhuta bhavanaha parito bhuta parasadbir vrishena tati bhutarat. Lord Shiva, the king of the ghosts, sitting on the back of his bull carrier, travels at this time, accompanied by ghosts who follow him for their welfare. Lord Shiva or Rudra is the king of the ghosts. Ghostly characters worship Lord Shiva to be gradually guided toward a path of self-realization. So it was Sandhya, it was Sandhyanam, it is said here, at the junction of day and night, evening, Sandhyayam. Okay, then goes. So Mayavadi philosophers are mostly worshippers of Lord Shiva, and Sripad Sankaracharya is considered to be the incarnation of Lord Shiva for preaching godlessness to the Mayavadi philosophers. Ghosts are bereft of a physical body because of their grievously sinful acts, such as suicide. The last resort of the ghostly characters in human society is to take shelter of suicide, either material or spiritual. Material suicide causes loss of the physical body, and spiritual suicide causes loss of the individual identity. Mayavadi philosophers desire to lose their individuality and merge into the impersonal spiritual Brahmajyoti existence. Lord Shiva, being very kind to the ghosts, sees that although they are condemned, they get physical bodies. He places them into the wombs of women who indulge in sexual intercourse regardless of the restrictions on time and circumstance. Kashyap wanted to impress this fact upon Diti so that she might wait for a while. So what Kashyap Muni is telling is right now, Lord Shiva is going around with his ghosts. Now, why does he have these ghostly followers? Because Lord Shiva is very compassionate. He's thinking at least let these ghosts who do not have any body, at least let them get a material body. Ghosts are just in the subtle form. So now there are two types of suicide mentioned, or people who commit suicide when we take up our own life. When we commit suicide, what's going to happen we are going to become ghosts, because Mother Nature says, oh, you do not want a body. Okay, then I won't give you a body. Then you become a ghost. That is material suicide. What is spiritual suicide? Spiritual suicide is what the Mayavadis want. They want to merge into the Brahmajyoti, means they want to give up their individuality. It's not possible to give up our individuality, actually. They just stay in the light for millions of years and they will come back. It's not possible to give up the individuality, but because they do not even want to have that spiritual individuality, they merge into the Brahmajyoti for some time, and that is called spiritual suicide. And so to be kind material suicide or spiritual suicide, Lord Shiva takes charge of them. If they really follow the teachings of Lord Shiva, what does Lord Shiva says? Hey Devi, what he says to Parvati, that the worship of Lord Vishnu is the highest. When Parvati Devi asked Lord Shiva, what is the highest worship? He says, worship of Lord Vishnu is the highest. So he's kind to the ghosts, to the ghostly people, to the Mayavadis, that if you really want to follow me, then follow the teachings, what I'm saying. And what is Lord Shiva's teachings? Worship Lord Vishnu. That's what he teaches. So Sripad Shankaracharya is an incarnation of Lord Shiva. He came for a specific purpose. He came just to, it was an emergency situation to stop people believing in the Buddhist voidism philosophy. So that's the reason Krishna sent Lord Shiva. here as Shankaracharya to give this impersonal philosophy, the Mayavad philosophy, just so that people could stop, because people had stopped believing in the existence of the soul. That is what the Buddhist philosophy is. So that people can again have faith in the Vedas, again have the belief that, okay, there is a soul, that we are the soul. That's why that's the reason Lord Shiva came as Shankaracharya. All this was to the stage so that Lord Caitanya could say that, okay, yes, you're the soul, but there is a super soul, there is the supreme Brahman. Yes, we are Brahman, but there is supreme Brahman. So there are two. So from zero, Buddhist is zero, void, there's nothing, Shunyavadi. And then impersonalist is monism, is one. They say everything is Brahman. Then Lord Chaitanya came to say there is not one, there is two. There is the tiny Brahman, and then there is the supreme Brahman. Is that okay?
Yes.
Little a bit confused. The Brahman's realization is that you merge, right?
Yeah.
Into the effulgence.
Yeah. So the impersonalist philosophy is what? That there is only Brahman, that I am God. I am that Brahman.
So that is which philosophy?
Impersonalist, Mayavadi.
Mayavadi. Okay.
Yeah. Monism, that's Mayavadi. Only one. Everyone is God. You are God. I'm God. We are all God.
So that is Shankaracharya's philosophy. He came. Okay.
Yes.
And then
this
the
is Lord
soul.
Shiva.
And then the second one, the Atma and Paramatma. That was.
That's Lord Chaitanya. Chintya Beda Abeda Tattva. Lord Chaitanya came to tell us that there is not only one, there is two. There is you are that we are Brahman, that's right, we are Brahman, but we are not the supreme Brahman. We are part and parcel of Krishna. We are part and parcel. We are not the supreme. We don't create the sun and the moon, and we don't have those qualifications. Sure, we are Brahman. Sure, we are Satchidananda. Yes, everything is Satchidananda. This material world is actually also Satchidananda. Why? Because it's situated on the Brahman. Everything belongs to Krishna. So Krishna is Satchidananda. So, but we are not supreme. That's what Lord Chaitanya came to show. What's our position? We are his tiny part and parcel. Is that okay?
Yes. Yeah. And then third is Bhagwan. There is a supreme personality.
Yes. That supreme Bhagwan, that's the supreme Brahman, Krishna. He's the supreme. That's Krishna.
Krishna, yes.
Supreme.
Yeah, he's a person. Right.
Yes. So this is the reasoning why these personalities came, why, for our benefit, everything's happening to guide us properly.
Right.
So shall we stop here for today?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. So thank you so much for joining in today morning.
Thank you.
Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Gaur Premanande, Hari Bol, Hare